Jay Shetty has to be the most ambivalent, two-sided character out there. From providing very insightful, detailed podcasts for free to charging $7,500 for an online course. He clearly operates on both ends of the spectrum. Today, we're going to look at the hidden, secret past of the world-famous monk and life coach.
And when I was 22, I decided to turn down my corporate job offers and go and live as a monk in India for 3 years.
See, this is the thing, right? When anyone ever comes out with a story like this, immediately we all think of what we would do. We would take the money. You know why? Because we need fucking money to live. Him, on the other hand, he's just better than us. So maybe we should listen to him. And that's right there how people like this get you.
Yeah, Jay Shetty does operate in a way which most people don't. We all know him as the famous podcaster, the guy who gives that information. But the fact that he chose to give up a job where he was earning quite a lot of money to instead pursue this other job which involves a lot of sacrifice and discipline, it's something that isn't really that common. You wouldn't really expect somebody like Jay to do something like that, especially given the fact that this guy allegedly charges $100,000 for a booking session with him.
Yeah. Well, a lovely little lady called Nicole Arba made a video full of examples of Jay plagiarizing other people's work.
We're meant to love people and use things, but today we use people and love things. We spend more times holding our phones than we hold each other. Say, I love you because I need you. When you grow up, you realize...
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie. When I first heard Jay Shetty say these quotes, I did originally think it was him that said it. And if he did at least credit the people that originally said it, then fair enough. But the fact that he kind of passes it off as his own work, he could at least give props to the people that said it first.
His schoolmates, former employees, graduates of his life coaching school, even high-ranking members of ISKCON, they claimed that his story about living as a monk for 3 years is a huge misrepresentation of the truth. They said he spent a couple of months in India at best and was mostly living in Watford. I'll be fair to him though, if you're sat in front of Ellen and she's like, so, were you a monk for all that time? You're not going to say, well, mainly in Watford, did a couple of weeks in India, wasn't really a monk. It doesn't sound as good. And
yeah, it's surprising that Jay capped that much. I thought what he said about spending most of the time in India during his monk days was true. I didn't realize he actually spent most of the time in England, if what his friends and the people close to him said about it was true and Jay was in fact lying. But once again, it shows kind of the double-sided character of this guy. When you're on, a really famous popular talk show with Ellen, you say one thing, but then the truth may actually be another.
They also claim that Jay's story about having a huge revelation after he met a monk for the first time was a lie, as he grew up within the religion of ISKCON. So this idea that he was this high-flying exec who then met a monk and had his mind blown, no, he just grew up around them. That's how he knows so much. So there was no epiphany. How can you have an epiphany about meeting your first monk when you've been surrounded by them the whole time? And that's the point of, if your whole story is based around this moment and it's bollocks, then how much of what you're saying do you really fucking believe? And
yeah, this side of Jay Shetty, it's one that we haven't really seen. I would say, if it is true that he's capping about all these different things, about key significant moments in his life, then the jury is kind of out on this lad. We don't really know if he is being truthful or not. It does raise questions about the legitimacy of all the different things that he says in his podcasts and his courses, because if he's capping about massive major things, then we don't really know about all these other things, whether they're true or not.
There's actually footage of him rapping. What is it with all the rapping? In front of a monk. Just stop rapping, Jay. It's not going to happen for you. Just because your name's Jay doesn't mean you should be rapping. Go on, son. Kill the beat. Just to be clear, this is about a year before he was supposed to have met the monk for the first time and reached enlightenment, and he sat here getting backing beats from a monk with a violin wearing an Eminem t-shirt. But
this is a side of Jay which we're not really accustomed to. We are used to him, like I said, speaking to us in a more formal, serious manner when delivering advice or tips, or even during his devout monk days, you'd expect him to be a lot more serious and disciplined rather than just letting go and having fun, just rapping into a mic. But once again, this is a part of him which we haven't really seen, and it does kind of contradict his days as a monk. It's like complete opposite.
So the journalist then starts looking into his life coaching school. Remember, they charge £7,400 to get a certificate at the end, which they claim is the equivalent of a university degree. And on his website, Shetty claims that the certification school is approved by Ofqual in a way to gain a full undergraduate degree by combining Jay Shetty's certification school diploma with only 1 year of full-time study. But John McDermott, the the journalist who was investigating this went to Ofqual, and the spokesperson wrote that the organisation would be contacting the school to have the references of Ofqual removed from their website because it does not regulate Jay Shetty's school's accreditations at all. And when you consider how many people view Jay Shetty as an authority on how to live your life and trust every word he says, this is mental.
Yeah, I mean, for somebody like Jay Shetty, when you've got an audience of that size, he's got so much influence and recognition all over the world. When you say things which are allegedly not true or not really legit, there's definitely question marks raised. We're not really used to seeing Jay like this. We're used to him being that guy who just spits facts on his podcast, but he's got a course that is kind of like fake or it doesn't really hold true. Yeah, it's a bit mad.